I've built up by towering. I've built sideways by bridging. Now there's only one direction left, and that is downwards. But I'm not going to do fastest way to fall or fastest way to dig. I'm going to complete the trilogy by building down. I want to find the fastest way to build down in Minecraft. But before we do that, I gotta settle one thing, because everyone is pronouncing my name the wrong way. It's not a dodo, it's not a dede, and not Didi Mega Doodoo. The way it's pronounced is adudu, like poop, yes. But anyways, let's start building down. A problem with building down is that it has an issue that bridging and towering don't have. You can't stand on a block while building down. On the other hand, creating momentum isn't a big issue because falling down is already fast. The problem is, how am I gonna catch myself? Before we start descending, let's first give a definition to building down. Building down means moving down while placing blocks to create a landing spot. I'm going to measure the speed by starting the timer as soon as the first input is performed, like placing a block or moving my character. The timer stops as soon as my character model is standing on the platform. I will do this for a 20 block distance, where the red line is the 20th block. If the landing platform is on or under the red line, the time is valid. With that out of the way, let's finally start building down. Let's first look at basically the only method that is known by the community right now, and that is using water to slowly build down. This gets you a time of 16.67. Which means 1.2 blocks per second. Really slow. You can already optimize this by crouching to the bottom of the water and controlling it to stay there. This already improves the time to 6.06 seconds. That is 3.3 blocks per second. So, this is the time to beat today. Let's go. Like I already said, the difference between going down compared to towering and bridging is that you already have momentum. If you fall without doing anything, you already clear 20 blocks in 1.26 seconds. That's an average speed of 15.87 blocks per second. Problem is, you need to catch yourself in a way because you can't just place blocks underneath yourself. Besides, the speed of free falling is so fast that you can't even place the last 3 blocks, let alone catch yourself. So let's first start off by slowing ourselves down while falling. My first 2 ideas were honey blocks and of course slow falling. Honey is a funny mechanic because you actually stick to the side, which allows you to slowly descend while placing honey. It's actually harder than it looks because you need to get the perfect timing for every honey block, otherwise you just slide off. This gets you a time of 8.48 seconds. That means 2.4 blocks per second. Although this method is slower than water, I still thought it was a cool mechanic to showcase. Next up, slow falling. It's pretty straightforward. Just place blocks and clutch yourself with water at the bottom. Slow falling does beat water with a time of 5.41 seconds. So we already beat the time, but I don't want to beat this time. I want to obliterate it. So I decided to go on the wiki to find some stats about falling. Players fall with a maximum speed of 78 blocks per second. Players aren't the only thing in Minecraft that can fall. Items and blocks fall with a maximum speed of 40 blocks per second. This also means they accelerate slower than players. Boats and minecarts also fall under this category. This means that if you're inside a boat, you fall slower than normal, making it possible to place 20 blocks while falling. There's just one problem. How do we catch ourselves? We go too fast to place water. Luckily, boats have a very useful mechanic where if you leave the boat mid-air, both you and the boat float in the air for a couple of frames. This means that because you can stand on a boat, you can jump up from the boat that's hanging in the air. Pairing this with jump boost too, you can jump and block clutch yourself at the bottom of the pillar. So if you start by jumping, placing an insta-breakable block, placing a boat, get in a boat, and break the block, you get an optimal start. This way, you get a time of 2.28 seconds, which means 8.8 blocks per second. That's finally an actual fast way to build down. And do you know what you can use this method for? Building down to the subscribe button underneath the video. Because only 2.3% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed. So I would really appreciate a sub. But anyways, let's get back to the video. With this method, we finally smashed the previous times. But if you've seen my videos, you know we're only getting started. Like I mentioned, boats fall slower than players. So why not find a method that is possible where I'm not slowing myself down? So I started thinking of clutching methods that don't require an existing block. And my mind instantly snapped to maces. Using a mace with wind burst can throw you up if you hit an entity. So if you fall alongside an entity and hit yourself up and create a platform, it should be possible to do. The problem is that in order to perform this for 20 blocks, you need to build down 18 blocks before you hit the entity and create a platform. But if you fall down normally, you can only place 17 blocks, which causes you to only go down 19 blocks in total, just one short of 20. But I figured out a simple solution to this problem, because if you crouch immediately after falling down, your crosshair is actually lower, which makes it possible to place the first block earlier. This way, it's possible to place 18 blocks, hit the entity, and clutch yourself. This method got me a time of 1.73 seconds, which means 11.6 blocks per second. Finally a sub 2 second time. So, is this the fastest method? You know I'm gonna be jumping in the screen and call myself an idiot again. So just cue the footage already. No, I'm an idiot. We're only halfway through the video. I still have plenty of tricks up my sleeve. It's nerd time. Let's look at what Redstone has to offer. I immediately thought about the piston slime method to push myself down. Sadly, that's not possible if you just fall down, because the piston doesn't activate fast enough. But by using slow falling, you can be pushed down quite fast. But the issue is that you can't clutch yourself with water anymore, because you have too much momentum. You basically need something that can be placed more than once per tick, so you can keep up with the speed. For towering and bridging, that block was scaffolding. But the problem with scaffolding is that it can't be placed downwards. It will just fall down. There isn't another block that has this quality, but there is a plant that holds this exact same quality. Weeping vines. You can actually bone meal weeping vines multiple times per tick. With this, you can go down and clutch yourself with a block. Now the piston slime method is possible. It gets you a time of 2.19 seconds, which isn't beating the mace. But if you wind charge exactly when the slime pushes you, you get launched away. With this addition, you get a time of 1.79 seconds, which means 11.2 blocks per second, just slightly slower than the mace. So, was I wrong? Is the mace really the fastest method in the game? Did I actually lie this time? Hell nah. Of course not. I just found the craziest solution to all my previous problems. Too much momentum isn't a problem anymore. Using weeping vines while just falling already beats every other method by a landslide. With 1.26 seconds, it scrapes nearly half a second of the maze method. But vines allow more than just free falling. Since too much speed isn't a problem anymore, I can try to speed myself up instead of slowing myself down. This means Elytras and tridents can now be used. But before I'm gonna beat the previous time, I just want to show you a funny clip of building down with an Elytra before I knew of weeping vines. Because it's so goofy, I just have to show it. Anyways, time to get serious. Let's start with a trident with rain. By placing a block above yourself, bone mealing the vines, and falling while charging the trident, I got a time of 1.18 seconds. And with this exact same method, but with the Elytra, it got me a time of 1.16 seconds. Slightly faster than the trident. But if you combine the trident and the Elytra, it should be even faster. This got me a time of 1.09 seconds, which means 18.3 blocks per second. We're getting so close to the sub-second method now. There must be a way to improve this time, right? And the solution is very easy, because I'm extremely stupid. You can see me place a nether wart block every time I want to place the vines. That's because I somehow thought that was the only block weeping vines could be placed on. But yeah, it can be placed on every block in the game. With this newfound knowledge, we can hopefully go under the 1 second. While falling, you place a vine underneath the starting block and bone meal it, because that's way faster than this scaffold structure I built first. And you already fall while you're placing the vines. And if you combine this with an Elytra, with rockets, we finally break the 1 second mark, with a time of 0.95 seconds, which means 21 blocks per second. And you might be wondering, combining the Elytra with a trident makes it even faster. But the reason I'm not using a trident is because the charging time of a trident is 0.5 seconds. And there's simply not enough time to charge the trident while you're falling. So therefore, it won't improve the time. So this is the fastest possible time to go down, 0.95 seconds. Fun fact, this is the exact same time as the fastest way to tower. Wait. Do I really want to match the towering speed? Is 0.95 seconds really the fastest time? Hell nah! I might not be able to use the trident, but I can use something else to boost myself down. Remember when I used the wind charge to boost myself with the piston slime method? You can actually use that with the Elytra. And at the start, there's a small window where it's possible to throw a wind charge against the starting block to give myself more momentum. When I did this, I got a crazy time. The final time was 0.86 seconds, which means 23.2 blocks per second. And that is actually the fastest way to build down in Minecraft. If you think there's a faster way to build down, please try to beat this. I'm really curious if it's possible to do this even faster. And you might ask, are any of these methods even useful? Well, probably not. All of these were performed on tick rate 1, so I could even perform them. Maybe weeping vines can be used to escape people by going underneath them in a manhunt or something, or it can be used in a task speedrun, who knows. And that means the trilogy of towering, bridging, and building down is over. We've covered every relevant direction in Minecraft to build to, and that means this is the end of this small series. I want to thank you all for the support on these videos, and if you've made it this far in the video, I would really appreciate a sub if you haven't already. It's crazy to think we're almost at 30k subs. I'm sorry for the long wait for this video. I've been struggling with finding a balance between working 40 hours a week and making videos, almost like I have a job. But anyways, enough yapping by me. Thank you for watching and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.